welcome back to my channel. This live I'm gonna attempt painting this landscape scene. You can see just a nice picture that I took the other day, and I'm gonna introduce a bit more colour to it. So that's what I'm aiming for today in this video. So hopefully I get that right. So I just want to start off by wetting the sky area, and I'm not gonna copy the photograph exactly. It's going to be a loose impression of that photograph. Obviously, like I said, I just want to introduce some colour as well, so it's not going to be exactly like the photograph. So I'm going to use some cerulean blue for the sky area, and this is going to be a mix of a few various different colours. I've got a bit of pyro red, a bit of Payne's grey, a bit of sepia, so it'll just give a little bit more interest in the sky area here. Now, one of the things that's good to do if you're including trees, you want to leave some of the space, some of the gaps, so that you've got the sky coming through. It just makes it look a little bit more interesting, adds a little bit more interest to the landscape. So there we have that. I'm just going to get the tree down, so I'm just going to block in all this area. It's quite a big tree. There's lots going on, so I'm just going to concentrate on getting just the shapes at the moment, and that's what you want to do when you first start, just blocking those shapes. Get everything sort of planned out. You can either do a pencil sketch, a bit of an outline first, but with this one I'm just going straight in with paint. I'm just going to change my brush now. There's a little bit of background, just this background here, which I'm going to do, and then the green field, the grass in that area there. So hopefully it's not, you can see that reference. So it is quite a nice picture. It's quite a nice reference. I was out walking yesterday, so I just got a few pictures for this painting. So I'm just blocking in just a few of the shapes, using plenty of water for this stage. This is just the first wash, so I'm just going to get the colours that I want first down. So this is the field across from the tree. On the other side, it's a bit more, got a bit more yellow ochre in this side, so it looks like the dried grass, and then on this side is more of a sap green. So I'm just going to pop that in now. I've actually got two palettes on the go here, just so that I can get more colour down. So I've got my M. Graham's palette, and I've also got my Schmincke horadam paints as well, just so that I'm not going to struggle to mix colours while I'm doing this live. So here we go. Oh, hi Alfie, how are you doing? Thanks for joining. It's difficult to see the comments because I've got my cameras on the ring light, and where the clamp is, I can't really see. It's not very practical, but I can just about see underneath comments. So you just bear with me, bear that in mind. If I don't get to answer your comments, I'll try my best to, but it's not as easy as that. It's hard to see. Cat's crying for food, I think. I don't know. I know you can hear that. I knew it had happened as soon as I went live. But I'm just getting the overall shapes, just getting the marks down. And like I said, you can do this in pencil. It's not a big issue, but I'm just blocking in the things that I'm going to include, just covering the paper, getting rid of all that harsh white. I don't want that white in the painting. So just going ahead, and I've seen people do this first wash in different colours. It don't really matter, because this is going to be the first wash. So anything darker than this, this will sort of you'll see this through the painting. So this is going to be the lightest tones of this painting. So you can do any colour, you can mix it up, you can make this as interesting as you want. Now it is still wet, I ain't got time to wait for the paper to dry, so just add in some of those trees, the background. So it's gonna blend, it's gonna mix, it's gonna start blooms and things like that. But for the trees, it does actually work. If it was something else, then maybe not. But you can see the paint's still moving because it's still wet, but it also gives me a bit of distance in this scene, so it does work out as well. So just popping in those trees. Like I said, I will go back in, obviously, once this area dries. I will be going back in and I'll define some of those areas as well. But I'm just going as quick as I can. I still want to get things down. I still want to get things down while it's nice and wet. So I'm just going to pop in some of the green now. It's quite a big tree and there's lots of ivy and stuff growing around this tree. So I want to pop that in. Just get the bulk of the colour down. And there's quite a lot of trees in this scene, and like I said in one of my videos, I do want to improve painting trees. So this is perfect for me. It just gives me more practice doing trees. So it's a good thing. I think whatever you struggle painting, it's good to just try and especially doing it live, no pressure. So just add in some of those background trees now. So there's plenty going on. It's a really nice place that I like to walk. I've done a few videos now in this area, just not far from me. There's lots of farmyards, some horses, and even a few sheep in the fields. So I might do a painting with those as well at some point. So you can see at the moment it's looking quite abstract. Let me just move the camera a little bit closer. You can see all of that. It's just a weird thing doing lives, because obviously the format, it doesn't, you can't do a landscape format film. If you can, drop me a comment, let me know how, because I still haven't worked that out yet. I know when I first tried doing a live, it did ask me to put the camera sort of in the portrait, so it's just a bit different. Now you can see what's going on here. There's lots of because the paint's still wet, you got a lot of paint bleeding, but I'm going to use that I'm going to use that, and we're just going to keep going, use it to my advantage. Obviously, once the paint does dry, you can get some more solid lines, but at the moment they're sort of feathered because of the water on the paper. But we're just going to push through it anyway, and it will start making more sense as well. So if you do like to do watercolors, there's a few stages that you may go through. Sometimes it goes through an ugly stage, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's just what happens. Just keep going, just keep painting, and things do start becoming a bit more, they just start improving. So you can see beginning to make a little bit more sense now as the paper dries. In fact, I'm going to put in a little bit more colour in the sky, I think. A bit more of that bluey grey mix. There we go. And all I want to do is add some water to that so I can soften it. So just gives a little bit more interest to this top part of the sky. There we go. So I'm going to grab the hake now. My hake brush, this is number 1, so 1 inch. It's either a 1 inch or it's a 1 inch hake. So I'm just going to pop in some really dark colour now. I'm going to go for the sap green, a bit of the Payne's grey, and this is a really dark tree. So I want this to, you can see the it's quite a nice brush, the hake. If you've not used the hake before, you get some really nice effects using it. So it will be better once this dries. I can get some more details, but it's just making some marks now. Just that's all I'm doing, mark making. So it's there we go. Has anyone else joined? Okay, so I was gonna add a few more of those branches. There's all sorts of trees all intertwined and going into each other, which is quite nice. Quite nice. It's good for practice, especially if you've got some new brushes. It's good to use your new materials when you're painting trees, just to get used to what the brushes do. I'm just blotting some of that background. So I'm going to go in this background area. Just going to add some more trees now. I think the paper, yeah, I'll be able to get a few more solid lines now because the paper is beginning to dry, not completely, but you can see just adding those. So you get a bit of bleeding and stuff going on, but the first lot of trees that I did can serve as further back than these ones, you can see. So these are further back in the distance, and I think it would be nice to probably use a hairdryer really to dry this, but I'm just going to go ahead anyway. So you can see just a few things in the background. There we go. So I'm going to use my finger, smudge, smudge as well some of these trees. Don't be scared to use your fingers, just to blot that out. So there we go, that's a nice sort of first wash. Well done. And obviously add more details now as the paper begins to dry. So it's looking a bit fuzzy at the moment because it's still wet, but we will address that as as the paper dries. So I'm just going to mix up some more sap green now. So I'm going to use a bigger brush, a bigger mop brush. Just tapping into that sap green, a bit of Payne's grey, and a bit of sepia, just to get this really dark green. One of the other greens that I've got is a really nice green that I really like using, and it's one of the Schmincke horadam paints, is olive green. If anyone uses that colour, it's really, really nice. I find it a little bit more natural for grass and things like that than sap green. I know people tend to like using hooker's green, which I've never really tried, so I can't really comment, but it looks almost like a false Christmas tree colour, sort of like a fake green. I don't know. It's not. It's the colour that you use for mixing, I think, mostly, but it's not a colour that I've ever used. But if I did, I wouldn't use it straight. It'd just be a mixture. So I'm just coming down. There is a little bit of foliage in this area, so I'm going to include that as well. And then the path coming in as well. Might as well, I'm going to tackle that while I wait for this tree, the area of this tree to dry a bit, so I can go a bit more in depth. I'll just see if I can get this path in and the foliage and those details. So just using a little bit of tissue, just blotting off some of that paint, just so that I can use this brush now, just to get some of the foliage. So like I said, I'm not using the reference exactly. I'm not going to copy it exactly. I'm just going for the basic shapes and the just using the reference loosely. So I know this is the path coming down, and there's lots of foliage in this area. Some of that green here, and it's looking, I know what you're thinking, it does look a little bit of a mess. It's remember, in that messy stage, but things will start coming together as areas dry, things like that. You will get some nice things start happening. So you just carry on, just push through it, and it will make sense. There's lots of trees. Just adding those. Anyone else joined? Alfie is still here, still watching. If you're watching, then please do drop me a like. If you're not subscribed yet to my channel, then please check out my channel. I do lots of beginner-friendly videos, lots of paintings for beginners. So it'd be nice if you check that out and subscribe to my channel. It'd be really nice to have you on board. Now, one of the things that I've noticed. One of the things I've noticed is every time I use my mic, the sort of next time I use it, it doesn't work properly. It just goes through one side. I don't know whether it's a default sort of thing that happens, but hopefully you can hear me all right. Let me know in the comments if you can hear me, if the sound's okay. Let me know. I would appreciate that, just so that I know. There we go. Just going to take some of this out. So like I said, it's just you're just building layers. You just add in those colours, just getting rid of that white paper. And as you do, just things start happening and it begins to take shape, and things start making sense the more the more you paint, the more sort of things you add. It does make sense as you do. So, okay, so there's this little bit of, I keep flitting brushes, I keep flicking from one to another. Here's the path coming down. So there we go. I've had quite a bit of weather, and for some reason this path has stayed wet, so there's lots of puddles and lots of water. I did get quite muddy going down this track the last few days when it's been sunny, but we've had rain that it doesn't sort of have time to dry. So we have had quite a bit of weather. If you, 3 people, could you drop us a like while you're watching this video? I would appreciate that. It just helps get out to more people. More people could be more notified, and it does help the algorithm, especially a smaller channel like mine. Let's get some of these branches in now. It's beginning to dry, so it is making things a little bit easier as I paint. So I'm just going to pop in some of these limbs and twigs and sticks and all these sort of things. There is quite a lot, so you can add as many or as little as you want. You can go for realistic if you want to copy the reference exactly, you can do. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that, and I've done that a few times before, but this is the reference. If you just tuned in, if you've not seen, this is the reference I'm painting, and I'm going to change it up. I am going to add things and add more colour probably, just to make it a bit more interesting, but it is a nice scene, and I think I can sort of put my twist on it as well. So that's my intention. And it's fascinating really in watercolor. You never really know what's going to happen when you start painting. You never know. You have an idea in your head what you want to paint, and maybe even an idea of what it may look like when you're done. But 9 times out of 10, it goes a completely different way. There is such thing as happy accidents, when things take a turn that you didn't intend on doing, and it just sort of works. So that's one of the things that I really, really do like in watercolor, is the unpredictability of it. With oils and things like that, you've got a bit more control, a bit more sort of control of what's happening. Sorry if you can hear the cats. As soon as I started filming, they started whinging. My wife's gone upstairs, and I think that's what they want. They're calling after her. So yeah, there's just so many trees, limbs, and things going on. I'm just adding those as I go ahead. Just let me know if you can hear me. Please drop me a like. I do appreciate that. Really do appreciate that. There we go. I think next time I'll be shutting the cats out when I do a live. It's only one of the cats. She's always looking for food. You just can't seem to fill her up. She just wants food constantly, all the time. Okay, so I'm going to swap brushes now. I'm going to use this this round rather than the liner. I'm going to grab some more of that sap green and the olive green. I'm just going to tap this into this tree limb. Like I said, there's all sorts of ivy, things like that growing on this tree. So I'm just going to add this loosely. It's just going to be impressionistic. Let me know what you think if you're still watching. It will start making sense. Just trying to move things along nicely. Just dabbing the brush, not really paying any sort of attention to how I do that, just dabbing down, getting some of these colours in, this colour. So yeah, it's mostly sap green, olive green and a bit of Payne's grey for this stage. I will be adding some dark on top of that as well, so right, okay, so I am going to add a little bit more. Usually I don't mess too much with the sky. You know, if it wasn't live, you know, it'd be a different story, but obviously because I'm filming and I have to paint it all in sort of in the alla prima, all in one go, then it just makes things a little bit different. I'm going to get this path now. I'm going to tackle this sort of area, get the path in, and this is just a nice warm sort of grey mix. The Payne's grey, sepia, and that's going to be the path. There we go. I'm leaving a couple of, I'm just leaving some of, not the white, but the first wash, so that this can represent the water on the path. It's still quite a few puddles around. Now I'm just going in. Okay, I think I see what I can do now. Let me just dab that. Just going to add, there's a few fence posts as well, leading from the grass, going, I think I need darker mix. Okay, so a few fence posts, even add them a little bit taller. See, the paint's not dried yet, so I can go in a little bit later as well. But there's the fence posts. I'm going to get a couple more trees in the background. Perfect. The paper's dried here now, so I can add these. You can see the difference that makes. You can see it. You can see the difference that makes. You got some of the trees that are a lot fainter, and then just adding these trees which are a lot darker, and that gives you a nice, gives it a nice dimension to the painting. You got a foreground, a background, and then really far in the distance as well. So it's just a really handy thing to do, to add these different layers. Just gives it more interest in the painting. Now you can see things are starting to shape up, which is the stage I want to get to. I'm just going to add some more dark, especially to this tree and the limbs and all the twigs and sticks coming off. It really is quite dark. And I think this adds to it, you know, the paper still being wet. You got all this paint sort of bleeding out, and it just gives that look of the ivy that's growing up on this tree. So it does look quite effective. Okay, so I'm just going to pop in some really strong colour now for this this tree. Ella, oi, stop. Honestly, as soon as I started filming, the cat just started, which isn't, hopefully it's not too distracting if you're still watching. And if you are, just drop us a comment, drop us a like, subscribe. I really do appreciate that. So that's given us a bit more depth on the tree. So I'm going to start adding to that now. There really is lots going on. I'm going to add a little bit of colour now to the sort of mid-ground. So it's not quite in the foreground, it's not quite in the distance, but there is a little bit of colour. Sort of all this sort of twigs and sticks and all this sort of stuff going on. And I'm going to add some of this on this side as well. Can you see that? Let me move the camera. Okay, hopefully you can see that. Now the cats are chasing each other around. I think I definitely will have to sort something out next time I paint live. I'm going to have to do something about these cats. Although we have some of the foliage and some of the things going on in this area. And this is the fun part, because you can just start flicking up and it doesn't really matter where it goes. It doesn't really, you're not painting anything sort of exact. You can just go wild with your brush. It's a liner brush, number 2, and it's the Da Vinci Maestro brush, which is quite nice. I think I will grab a pen. I'm probably going to put these posts in again because the paper was wet. It sort of bled a bit too much. I want more of a solid line. So the posts are going to go in like this. They're quite crude, but there we go. Just adding some more sort of things going on here. You can see you don't have to be perfect with everything. You just go in and it's almost abstract the way I'm painting now, just simply because the paper's still wet and things are just running and blending and bleeding where I don't want them to. But I'm not going to let that stop me. I'm just going to carry on. I'm going to inject a bit more colour into this foliage. There we go. I like that colour, the nice warm sort of, this is a bit of the yellow ochre with a little bit of raw sienna, and just a bit of paint that's already on my palette, which I'm just dipping into. I think there's a bit of pyro red in there as well. But here we go, that's all I'm doing here. You can see the paper's buckled quite a bit. I don't know if you can see that, but that's another thing that can be, well, it can be an issue sometimes, but I'm just trying for it not to bother me. Now I think I'll add a little bit of a tree here as well. just for the interest. Now, so there's a bit of a dark area in the middle of the path going upwards, so I'm just going to include that as well. You can see this is what I mean when things start blooming and things start happening, but you can make that into a sort of into some foliage as well, so it can play a bit of a role in your paintings, so it's not all bad. So this is the middle of the path going up, and yeah, it's just mud really and dirt coming down. There is some cars that drive. It is a bit of a road as well, so you do get some cars, you get horses going on this path, so it does get quite muddy. And there we go. I'm going to add some colour, but it's coming along. I think things are beginning to make sense. Let me know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up as well. I really do appreciate that. So I'm just going to add some colour now into the side of the road. So I'm just hitting any colour now. I'm not really bothered, to be honest. Just there we go. And this is a little bit of red, a little bit of green, a little bit of pretty much everything, really. It's quite a rugged landscape scene, so I'm happy for that to just be a bit wild, I suppose. And there we go, we're getting there. Okay, so now I'm going to grab a bit of a thicker brush and I'm going to add a few of the more sort of prominent trunks and branches to the scene. So I'm going to grab some of the, I think it's Van Dyke Brown and Payne's Grey, and just add some of these. I think it's a tree behind this tree, so I'm just going to add these more prominent branches. And now I'm going to grab my liner brush again. Things are beginning to dry, so it is a lot easier now to add these without too much disturbing of the paint. There we go. And just a few darker branches now. You can see things, because the paper's drying in places, it is making it a lot easier to paint. Usually when I'm doing a painting, I do have plenty of breaks. I could be painting it. The painting could take me probably half an hour to an hour, but with the breaks I like to take my time, and it could take me 2 to 3 hours in total before I put down my brushes and call it finished. But the painting, it really doesn't take a long time. It's more the waiting for parts to dry. I usually paint for 10-15 minutes and then let things dry a bit, get a drink or something like that, and come back. And you can usually, the advantage of that is you can usually see things that you need to address, or see things that you didn't see before, because it's like you're just looking at the painting constantly. You don't really see. You need fresh eyes, so that's why it's good to take plenty of breaks and just step away from the painting for a while, and then when you come back, you got a fresh eyes for what you see, and you know what you can do to the painting to improve. Because sometimes you just don't see it. It's hard to see. So I would recommend taking plenty of breaks if that's what you want to do. It really does help. It helps me, so it helps me. I'm sure it does help a lot of you as well. So I'm just connecting some of these branches now. I want some of that really, really dark within this area. See, it's quite nice, and when you get dark limbs on the tree, it just sets it. This is the sort of focal point, so you do get your eyes get drawn to this immediately, so it's quite nice. And just gonna keep going with these limbs, keep adding some dark tones, mixing all sorts of colours together. I just tapped into some sap green with the sort of grey mix, so it's giving a really dark look. And it really is quite busy for branches, this scene, so I just want them to go all different ways. And you want all different sort of strength of colour, so you want some lighter than others and darker than the others, so it gives a nice play on light as well. And distance, you can see what I mean. If you look at some of the branches, some are really dark and some are a bit paler. It just adds to the three-dimensionness of the scene, of the tree. And there we go, I'm just adding these dark limbs. Let me know where you're from. If you're watching, let me know where you're from. And also drop us a like, I really do appreciate that. I think that's right, I'm going to add quite a dark mix now. I'm going to add colour. So I'm just going to fill in this area, just make it a bit more dark. Maybe too dark. Okay, there we go. So you can see, still not dry. Still not dry, but I'm just touching that area. And I think a bit here and a bit here. Maybe that's killed it a bit, I don't know. But if you add some paint and it looks a little bit too dark, you can always come in with a tissue. You can see that it does help. There we go. So I want to add some more darker green. So I'm going to mix some more sap green, and I want this field to be quite dark, quite dark green. There we go. And maybe some of that over this side as well. Now I'm just going to grab some yellow ochre. So I'm going to grab some of that and pop that in this top area here. And let that mix with the sap green. So you got a little bit of a transition there, it's quite nice. There we go, hopefully you can see things are really coming together. it's quite... I'm going to let this dry a little bit. Let me have a look at comments. Hi, thanks for joining. Welcome to this live. If you've not seen, this is the reference that I'm using. This is the picture that I took, I think it was yesterday, and I'm just loosely painting that. It's from a nice walk that I took, and got some nice pictures, and just wanted to do this one. I just wish I could dry this, just speed up a little bit, but we have to go with it, go with the flow. Just gonna tap in some more of that green. Lots of ivory growing up this trunk, this tree. So I'm just adding that. Okay, I think now if just give me 1 second, I think I will dry it with the hairdryer. Just excuse the sound. Excuse the sound. I do need to dry it just to speed us up. I don't want to take too long. I'll leave that hairdryer there just in case I need it again. But obviously it's a different thing painting in watercolor than any other medium. So you want to try and add things when it's dry. You got the wet on wet, and then you got the wet on dry, which is what I want to do now. So I just had to grab the hairdryer just to speed things up and allow me to keep going. It's different than painting anything else, landscape, because it's not like I can move on to something else. It's pretty much, it was all wet, so just had to grab that. And I think we need a new hairdryer, by the way. It doesn't sound too healthy, does it? Cats at it again, but okay, so I'm going to add, that's the ivy up the side of the tree. I'm just going to add some dark to that as well, some black, or some Payne's grey, should I say. So I'm going to add that to the green and let it, I'm happy for that to mix. I'm happy for that to mingle together and do its thing. It's not a problem. So there we go. So there we go. Right. Just going over some of these branches. Now I'm gonna just go over these posts, this fence post, because I tried it while it was wet, and it still is. You can see, but there we go. I will sort of hide. It's not really doing it. Paper's still a bit wet, but I'll tell you what I'll do. and that's how you take out paint. Not to worry, I will add to that. I'll just darken that obviously while it dries. I'm just going to go in some really dark paint now, a really dark mix. Here we go. You can see the contrast is quite nice. Contrast in the foreground and background. It really does give you landscape depth. So you want all the things in the background to be quite mute, quite faint, and then things in the foreground you want some contrast in there. So that's what this tree does. I'm going to add some of the foliage in this foreground. You got grass and all this sort of thing happening, and you can see just how loose you can do this. Just want texture now, really. I want some nice texture, and there we go. I'm also using the brush, not just the tip, but the belly of the brush as well, just to give that extra texture. And I think I'll add some of that colour again. You got a bit of burnt sienna and yellow ochre. So I'm just gonna, there we go, that's quite nice. Just to add that bit of colour. I'm gonna hit some more. I think I might be able to get away with it now. Yeah, there we go. Brilliant. So just adding some of that to this area as well. Just giving variety really to your painting, different colours. You can see the effect that brings. And I do apologise for the cat once again. Ella, have you been fed? There we go. I suppose these things happen. There's nothing you can do about it. The cat. I'm just going to see, will this work? No, it's still a bit wet. Okay, I'm just going to use the hairdryer one more time. I'm just going to dry this area so then I can complete this side, and see, we'll go from there. That should be enough. So I'm just going to grab the liner brush again, and I'm just going to try again. And see, that's much easier now. That hairdryer thing is going to burn out. There was a burning smell when I was using it. As you can tell, as you can hear, it does sound like it's on its last legs. It's quite a new one as well. I don't usually use it, obviously. It's my wife's, but it doesn't sound very healthy. It doesn't sound very healthy. I think that's going to have to be replaced soon. Okay, so I'm just going to add a bit of a tree here, which isn't on the reference. I thought I'll just add a nice bit of interest. And you can just go wild with these brushes. They are really nice. The liner brush, quite versatile. Want some darker tones coming up. There we go. So it's quite rough. It's just like a hedge leading down this path or road. So it just leads your eye in. It was quite a bend, a corner, but there we go. Let's see if we can get that. Okay. There is a little bit of shadow because the sun's on the left hand side, so there's a bit of shadows coming across the road. So let's see if I can include that. Add one here. Just blend that in a little bit. I can see now, I think what I need is a little bit more yellow ochre on this side. So let me mix some more of that yellow ochre, and that should look quite nice. Just bits and then blend it. There we go. It's quite nice. And just going to add some of that here as well. And I think I might just stop there. I think a lot of times in watercolor it's just a case of how do you know when to finish, and I guess each painting you could spend as much or as little time as you want, but I am pretty close to stopping painting, should I say, because once this is fully dried and once it's fully dried, there'll be a lot more I could do on this scene. And so really it's a case of when you stop painting rather than when it's finished. But yeah, I think that's probably a good place to finish. So let me, it's still wet, obviously. When it's dry, it does look a lot better, and I can still probably add darker tones to this tree. But there we have it. Hopefully you like this. Please do give us a thumbs up. I will leave this video on my channel, so if you didn't catch all of it, or if you want to watch it in your own time, then just check out this. It will be kept on my channel. But that's it. This is a country lane, bit of a reference to sort of go off, but I didn't copy it exactly. I used that and just did my own thing, but got the main tree there, and I hope you like it. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.